switch on me, you probably would. They ain't hit it no more. Yet your colors ain't pure. You wanna do what you want, go and do what you want. I'ma sparkle this away. I'm unbothered, I'm good.
Hey y'all, how's everybody doing this evening? I hope everyone is well. Welcome back to Convos with Black Women. We are back. How are you doing, Miss Ma'am?
We are back. I am doing good, tired but good, you guys. I moved to my office this week,
Yay!
so yeah, that's why I'm recording right here for right now. But yeah, other than I'm doing good, getting ready for this seasonal change in the weather, like we was just talking about. I
Yeah,
feel a cold coming on. It's all
yeah.
in the chest. But how
So
you been?
just I'm doing okay. I got a little sniffle situation going on as well, but congratulations on moving into your space. Like that's a big step.
Thank you.
It is a big step. So if you've seen the title of what tonight's show is going to be about, I'm pretty sure if you know, you know. If you don't, we gonna tell you. Our last podcast was about, wasn't it? What's the title? I forgot. I know what we
Our
talked
last
about.
podcast was about emotional intelligence.
So within emotional intelligence, we were still discussing Bree, the psychologist from TikTok that went viral on Twitter and TikTok about her telling men that they need to go to therapy and seek emotional intelligence. And this particular topic came up because it segued from the Bree situation where I was having a conversation with a male friend of mine, and he just said the same kind of rhetoric as everybody else. And then at a certain point in the dialogue, because I'm the type of friend, I'm not letting my foot up off your neck. Like, we going if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it, but I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and I'll listen to what you got to say with open ears until we come to like some type of dialogue that makes sense. And he kept saying, "Oh, her tone," and I was like, there was nothing wrong with her tone. I was like, I've literally heard men speak to women like the dirt beneath their feet. I was like, what she said essentially was her way of trying to help the men in general, but especially the men in our community to be able to have healthy relationships. And this male friend of mine replied, well, I didn't like her delivery because it reminded me of the way my mom used to yell at me. And I said, okay, you know what? I met your mama. And I know that you're not lying about how you and your siblings were treated, and I don't necessarily agree. However, this woman telling you to go seek therapy in a certain tone triggered childhood trauma, i.e., the reason why she said y'all need to go to therapy and unpack it. So he later sent me another TikTok of another black woman, older black woman, essentially saying the exact same thing that Bree said, but her tone was lowered. And that brought up the conversation between me and Aya about black women being tone police.
Mhm.
And an extension, how we're so tone police, but then we are supposed to receive all tones at all time and respond based off of how people expect us to respond. It's just it was very enlightening to hear him say, oh, her yelling reminded me of how my mom used to treat me. Then baby, her statement about you going to therapy was very accurate because you need to
That
unpack that. You need to unpack it.
um, all right, so I do have that video in question. I'm going to play her video here when I can find it. Well, first I'm gonna play this one video. No, I'm gonna play that video because it's still along the same thing here.
Okay.
This is specifically for my black people. Most of y'all already know what happened to the black TikTok creator who also happens to be a therapist. She got fired. Yep. She got on TikTok, told black men that they needed to go to therapy, told black men that they needed to improve on their emotional intelligence, told Black men that they could not expect to keep their women if they did not go to therapy and resolve their issues. Okay. Now, she didn't say it like I just did. Okay. She spoke to them like they speak to each other. She spoke to them like they talk about women when they get on their podcasts and degrade Black women. She spoke to them like Kevin Samuels spoke about us. But Black men did not like her tone. And it wasn't just Black men who didn't like her tone. Black women didn't like her tone either. So they got mad. And that was all well and good until a Black female author wrote an article about her, exposed her real name, and exposed where she worked. And once that happened, she lost her job. Y'all harassed her so much. A Black female therapist lost her job. And then you justified your actions. And ultimately, it came down to how she spoke to Black men. It came down to the tone that she used. It came down to the fact that you do not feel as though she spoke to the Black man with respect, despite the fact that the Black man has not spoken to Black women with any type of respect. Now, it's my belief that this is because she did not behave the way you've been conditioned to see a Black woman behave. You've been conditioned to see Black women as part mammy and part strong Black woman. We're supposed to hold back our frustration and our anger at Black men treating us like shit because of their unresolved issues and their unwillingness to get help. And if we do suggest that they go to therapy, we're supposed to sound like a white woman from Connecticut when we bring it up. Yeah. We're not supposed to come at you with justified anger or aggression because it intimidates you. Yeah. When we express our anger or aggression, you then feel the need to punish us, to put us in our place, to exert control, to exert dominance. You know, like white men do.
I'm just being honest. And she went even farther than Bree did.
Ooh.
She went even farther than Bree did.
We could end the podcast.
Right, right.
She
We can
said,
end it.
oh, she said everything because again, from what we was talking about, and you was like, I don't understand what the difference is. She said the same exact thing, and your friend was like, it's because of how she said. It's because she was nice. Like she sounds pleasant to the ear. She didn't use profanity. Yeah, she did, but
She
she didn't
did,
use it
but
like towards
not the way
them.
Bree did. Yeah.
Like she didn't use it towards them. That's the thing. But she sat there, she kept her cool and her control. She wasn't angry. Her voice wasn't passionate. Because for whatever reason, like I feel like when Black women get passionate, they think we're like angry or upset or yelling. So she was really very even toned, monotoned,
Mm-hmm.
kept the same tone throughout the duration of the video as she was saying all of these truths.
My thing, because he sent me that video. the friend. He sent me that video. I hadn't seen it before he sent it. And my reply to him was, she said the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
She even
Right.
went a little further to be
Mm-hmm.
like, y'all went as far as to destroy, break down, try to humble a black woman that's trying to help you so that you can exert dominance, power, and control. Like who? Like a white man. And then when you say that, they'll be like, well, white supremacy don't have nothing to do with this. It has everything to do with this. And the fact that y'all don't see it
Right.
is why some of the content creators on TikTok is like, some of them still have a plantation mindset. They
Mm-hmm.
really believe that they'll be able to dominate the black community up under the gauze of white supremacy.
Right.
When you have white men sitting on YouTube with Cynthia G, pretty much saying the very similar thing that this black woman said,
Mm-hmm.
which is, y'all are saying that when your black women are too masculine, but they've been in survival mode for so long, they're not operating in the role that they should be, and neither are the men. I
Right.
have yet to see somebody go after that white man.
Mm-mm. But yeah, I think she hit the nail on the head, and more specifically, she put more context.
Right.
I think the way that she said it, and she gave them more context, more deeper understanding into just y'all need to seek therapy. I've been telling y'all to seek therapy, blah blah blah. But about toning of Black women's voices, she just gave more context, especially at the end when she mentioned those two stereotypical tropes of Black women, which is the angry Black woman
Right.
and the mammy.
Right.
And those both came to exist. First of all, the angry Black woman for me is definitely a myth. The mammy, not so much. I'm not going to say the mammy is a myth and the mammy is still alive and well even now.
It's some of them that's
Um,
still alive and well.
yeah, that still will condone and rationalize and make excuses for um, the
The
behaviors of
behaviors.
men
Right.
and just tell you to, be quiet about it, hush up about it. They don't need all that. They already stressed enough as it is, and blah blah. All that good mammy stuff that they do. But the strong Black woman, and I think that trope. No, not the strong Black woman. I'm sorry, the angry Black woman. That's
Mhm.
definitely a myth. But even if it wasn't a myth, I feel like Black women have every right to be angry.
Every right.
Every right, and they should have been blew this shit the hell up years ago, decades ago. We should have been where we at now, which I feel like it's a whole movement going on, and we have finally reached our boiling point. And
Correct.
especially now these days that we have the World Wide Web and Blue Ivy's internet and social media platforms.
Hmm.
And we are now using our voices to talk and talk about our experiences and seeing that other Black women's experiences are matching up to our own, and we're
Right.
empowering one another in our stories that we're sharing and telling about our experiences, not only as Black women, but also with Black men. They don't like that. Like we are not if like I hear all of y'all always saying or Black people always saying we ain't our ancestors. Well, we ain't our mamas. Like we not. We are not the previous generation or that
Right.
that generation before them. And I respect them for doing what they had to do. But now we are not. We're
We are
not them.
not them. We are
And it is
not them.
time to break these cycles, and y'all gonna have to get it in shape or be out at this point of the game. I don't like the tone policing. Like the other video I have that I can show, and it's by a Black man. He said, Black women are the most tone policed women group of people. In general, group of people. I don't get the right to have any type of emotion
Nope.
other than I'm fine, I'm good, other than my happiness. I can't show or display any other type of emotion. If I'm talking to someone or if I'm talking to specifically a man, I can't be passionate in how I talk. Me being passionate is not me being angry, but it's for some reason in their minds, if your voice gets elevated, just like right now, I'm not angry, but in their mind watching this,
It
we're
would be
both,
you're yelling.
yeah,
You're
we're both
being aggressive.
angry and bitter and aggressive and yelling and being hurtful. We're both going to have all of these things thrown on us. Oh, they're just two angry Black women on here talking.
Hey,
I'm
call me
just
what you
very
want.
passionate about what we're discussing because I'm tired of it. Like, a great example, one of my kids' father, oh God, we would have conversations on the phone, or we're having an argument, because it's an argument. We're having an argument. And
Right.
so I'm trying to get my point across, and here you go, stopping me and interrupting and saying, why are you raising your voice? Why are you yelling? Like, why are you talking like that? Like, there could be no reflection, nothing in no tone change or nothing in my voice.
But he took it as you yelling.
Yeah, or I'm yelling. I'm being aggressive. I'm yelling and being aggressive. It's how you talk to people. You need to watch your tone. And
But then they don't.
we get told that at the workplace, we get told about our tone.
Don't even
We
get
get
me started
told,
on that.
yeah, we get tone police by not only them, but by everybody. And so, like, Black women got to literally walk around with smiles on their faces all the time. And it's exhausting. I just watched a video. I don't know. I don't know if you've seen it, about Serena, and she's sitting there talking, and I guess it was old interview clips that they put all together. And one of the interview clips, the reporter was asking her what's wrong with her. Usually when you come and give the interviews, you're upbeat and you're smiling and blah blah, being charismatic and all this stuff. And she just was like, I love that. She just kept it real. Like, listen, it's such and such AM in the morning. I'm
Right.
tired. Like, I don't feel like I don't have to be a show monkey for you all the time. I don't feel like I don't have to make you feel comfortable. So I have to put on this smile, or I have to pretend like I'm okay.
Well,
Like
see,
Megan
not even.
said, we all have bad days. It's a bad day. And I'm going to act like it's a bad day. And my emotions is going to reflect that it's a bad day.
But not even just that. You had said something earlier where you was like, unless you're happy. I was like, no, but you can't be too happy now. Oh no, you too happy. They over there trying to break your happiness too.
Oh yeah, if I'm too happy, it's like,
If
what's
you too happy, they will be like, what's wrong with her? She thinks she better. How dare she act like she better than me? Do all the things to break your spirit and then still expect you to walk in there with a smile on your face.
mm-hmm,
Broken.
mm-hmm.
And then be like, oh well, why are you bitter? You don't care, so why are you asking? Like that really started to become my answer. Like, you don't genuinely care what I'm going through because it doesn't fit into the narrative of how you think I should be acting. So with that being said, I'm breathing. I'm here. That's normally like my answer when people are like, oh my God, you're not acting the same. Because I have things going on as well. Not that you care about those things or my physical, mental, or emotional well being. And so, with that being said, when you ask me how I'm doing, I'm here, I'm breathing. Have a good day. That's my answer. And you take with it what you want.
Right.
Constant tone police.
Tone policing all day, all the time, or even if you're having a conversation and it's like someone's starting to get mad, we're not going to say who, and it's like, what are you getting mad for? Like, we're just having a, like, you're getting mad. And you know what? I always used to get told, it's how you say things, and I never understood, because I'm like, how do I say things? Do you want me to put a cherry on top? And even if I did that, it's going to be something, because it's always something. It's going to be something. Like, how is it that I'm saying something? So every other group of women get to show their emotions. White women can cry in public and throw tantrums in the stores.
Mm-hmm.
They can yell at you and your family minding y'all business in the park and call the cops.
Mm-hmm.
They can do whatever they want to do to show their anger, their happiness, their sadness. Because if they cry, Lord forbid,
Oh,
everybody's
Jesus.
What
Everybody's
is
running.
wrong? What is wrong with Karen? Stop the tracks. What is wrong with Karen? What's wrong with her? If they get upset, it's, oh, we got to take this serious. Karen's upset. But we are
Right.
the only group of women, I can't show any emotions. I
No, and then
always
as soon as we're upset, oh,
think,
she want attention. Whenever we do this, we want attention. Why are you acting like that? Why are you being, irate? You're being insubordinate. You're being ghetto. You can't do this. What's she crying about now? We're
yeah, oh
like,
yeah, what are
okay.
you crying about now? Oh, that's a good one. What are you crying about now? You always complaining about something.
I use my heart attack as an example. the whole strong woman trope, how I sat there for 24 hours having an active heart attack. I thought I was having a panic attack.
Mhm.
I show up to the hospital, they're running because it's serious. And I get into what's called, they did a heart catheterization where they take a scope and run it through a main artery up to your heart to look inside the chambers of your heart.
Mhm.
And I indeed was having a heart attack. The doctor did what he did to rectify that situation. But of course, I was going to intensive care because it's my heart. I get there and I'm like, hey, great. It's like Sunday morning, 2 a.m. at this point. And I was like, so I'm gonna be out by like Tuesday, right? And they were like, ma'am, you just had a heart attack. I just said, well, yeah, he said he fixed it, but I gotta go to work on Wednesday. Looking crazy. So then when I'm
Right.
trying to transition back into work, I'm dealing with a lot of Caucasian women who, at this point in time of my place of employment, I knew these heifers were racist. I spoke to who I needed to speak to, and I conversed with the nurses who, I had their patients. Other than that, I wasn't getting into no deep conversation or whatever. Not only did my manager not even follow up to be like, hey, are you okay? Or any of those things. She blocked people from donating hours to me so that I could continue to be paid while I was out.
Mhm.
And I went into the bathroom one time because I'm having multiple panic attacks at work at this point, which I can't be having because I just had a heart attack. And I'm in the bathroom, like putting cold water on my face, just trying to pull myself together, right? Because I got to pull it together. And that manager, along with three other Caucasian nurses, was just like, "Ugh, I'm just tired of her mess." Like, she probably faked the heart attack for attention.
I'm faking a whole cardiac arrest.
Who fakes a cardiac event? So what did that do? Put me on edge. I'm not talking to nobody. I can't trust nobody. I'm working in one of the world-renowned hospitals at this time. And I'm fearful that I'm gonna die on my job and them bitches gonna let me die because they think my heart attack was fake.
Right.
You know that they don't just put you in intensive care. But then when I spoke to like the OG black nurses, they was like, no, you're gonna rest. You're gonna sit down, blah, 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 blah. You could tell the difference. And I'm sitting here again, trying to do what I need to do. I got a kid. I didn't have a cardiac event. Um, it's all these things to be, well, you're being insubordinate. Honey, I'm trying to make sure I don't die.
Right. All these stressors.
All these
All these
stressors,
stressors.
none of my accommodations handled. And what makes it even interesting is they did all this stuff to make sure I didn't get paid and all this other stuff. And one of my coworkers had her baby early. Do you know that even after they came up with the bogus reason to terminate me, and forgot to mention they didn't file any of my grievances as well, one of my mutuals that still worked there, her mother passed. And they gave her hell about her taking off about her mama passing.
Mm.
And we were talking about it, I'm asking if she's okay. That same white girl that went out on maternity leave when I had my heart attack, a year later was still out and still getting a paycheck.
Child. Mm-mm.
And I'm like, I get it, your baby wasn't as developed as much, but like, what does that have to do with you working 312s? I'm really confused. Like, you still get the same 312s as everybody else.
That is absolutely insane.
I think she just recently came back, but she had another baby too. That's what I'm saying. Like, very accommodating, very understanding. I remember one girl, white girl, was upset. Her boyfriend did something and he cheated or whatever. And this is before my heart attack. So I used to go in there like kikiing or whatever, just trying to get through my work day, right? And I told her, I said, girl, you want me to call him and find out what his reason was? Like, I'm over there kikiing it up with people, right? Because I don't have no ill intent. But I also didn't look at them like, I was beneath them or they was above me because of skin color. But they looked at me like I was beneath them. Soon as my temperament changed after my heart attack, what's wrong with you? Why you ain't smiling? Why you ain't this? Why you ain't put on makeup today? Blah, 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 blah. Girl, I about died coming through the tunnel trying to get to work on time. What do you mean? I don't
I
care
ain't
about that makeup.
um good luck, or I ain't never have no good experiences working in the workforce, especially in corporate America. I could just imagine how the hospital was, but and like, cause I'm not about to conform to make you comfortable. I remember this is like a funny but sad story. I shouldn't be laughing, but I remember I was fired and this was at a health center, but I was just like at the receptionist, the front desk. I was fired because I didn't smile enough. And I was like, what did they tell me? I was non-approachable. And that wasn't non-approachable to the patients. I was non-approachable to people who work there.
But see,
And
that's
the
what I don't
lady who I worked
understand.
for, well, the superintendent, whatever her job was, the manager, she was a Black woman. And she, at first, I mean, like a week prior before I got let go, she asked me, like, is everything okay with you? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, you should smile more. You should have told me, like, if you don't start smiling, like Chester the cat, I'm gonna let you go. But no, she was just like, you should smile more. Yeah, okay. Like, okay, I have a resting face, but I'm fine. And it's not my problem that
It
your
wasn't
other
like you were being
workers
rude.
or your PAs or your nurses or whoever that comes back here, like, is intimidated. And I'm not doing anything but minding my business and doing my job. And then the following week, she let me go.
But see, what I don't understand about that is they have issues with that. Like, oh, you're not approachable. But then y'all turn around and y'all hire nurses who don't even like the
You don't
patients.
like the patients, right?
Y'all hire nurses that don't even like the patients.
Yeah.
They don't want to be bothered to give medicine.
Yeah. They just
Like,
there for
it's so weird to me. I have worked in healthcare 16 years. And the main reason I gravitated towards like home health private care is because A, I can make my own schedule. And B, I was only dealing with Mr. Bob or Miss Susan
yeah.
or Mr. David and Miss Kathy who was married. Like it was that. Fake names because God forbid we bring up real names because HIPAA.
Yeah.
That was their other argument about Bree. But I got tired of working with nurses who didn't really want to be nurses. They wanted a decent paycheck, knowing that it was a sustainable job, that they were going to always be able to get their hours and overtime and then some if they wanted. Not because they really genuinely cared about the well-being of the people. And I had one lady, her daughter found me on Facebook, like because where I used to work is this big social media clause. So you can't friend nobody or whatever. And her daughter said something. She was like, "Oh my God, you took care of my mother." And I was like, "Really? I did," or whatever. And she messaged me. She was like, "Thank you so much." She was like, "My mother was miserable. You made sure that we were comfortable. And even though her nurse was hateful, you made sure that we were straight, checking on us throughout the day. Like, I really appreciate you." And it's like, it don't take much to be a decent human being. That's for male and or female. But it's crazy to me how Black women cannot be expressive at all.
Yeah,
But
we got
Karen fall on the floor. Karen fall on the floor is a whole scene. Jaquan show his ass, and they expect it because they already have him labeled as some thug or some derogatory term used against Black men. So they expect him to act a monkey fool.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Like, it's so funny because when it comes to when we dealing with the palm colored people, they already expect certain behavior or in their minds the stereotype typical behavior of Black men, and they're already like afraid for their lives. I feared for my life around them. So that's where they put them at. But then when it comes to us and we're able to get these positions and really have to interact and work around them and be around them and stuff, it's like they still see that same thing, but it's like they know that, oh, they're in check. We can we have them in check. So.
Or they question your credentials. Like, how did you get this job exactly?
Right.
Another way of tone checking you, where you have to constantly be aware.
Going back to, like you said this earlier, and I happen to have a video about this, the not believing of Black women.
Oh, well,
So
yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this clip.
I don't think so.
Let me see. I meant to show this to you, to send it to you. No one believes Black women.
Okay,
all we asking for is to be believed. Because I say this, being a Black woman in America, nobody believes anything you say. When you say somebody is hurting me, nobody believes you. And that's not something we just experience in Black women. That's the stuff we experience in the workforce. And that stuff even we experience from a young age in schools. If you look at statistics from a young age, if it's a Black on white with women, the black girl is always considered the aggressor no matter what the white girl did. And that's something a lot of us have experienced. And you can look at statistics and see that. And so when we come to y'all and say
black people in general.
Yes, but we feel that even further when we come to y'all with certain stuff and you go, oh, that's not true, that's BS. Mm-hmm. And we're like, we feel extremely dismissed because on top of that, we're getting that from the world because we're black people, right? But then we come to our men and y'all just say, well, I ain't like that, so that's BS. And it's like, okay, well, we're telling you if, and the fact that you can say, I hear black women say that all the time, that means we all got the same story. So even though it's a minority of y'all, we're being affected by the minority. And y'all are just saying, well, I ain't like that, so that ain't my business. But it's my business because the minority is affecting me.
I agree with what you're saying.
All we asking for is to be believed because I say,
where's the law?
Yeah.
So, trigger warning. I was in a relationship with somebody who's been off and on in my life for a long time. And I was having argumentative situations with my mother. It seems to just be the chapter book of my life for it to be me and this woman arguing about something. And I left the house and got a hotel. And at that time, I was like mutuals with this guy. Hold on. Excuse me. I was mutuals with this other guy that was not my boyfriend. And I had ordered food and he was like, oh, let me bring you a bottle, blah, 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 blah. Well, that man assaulted me. And so my boyfriend at the time, came to the hotel room after he got off of work. And I'm trying to tell him what's going on, but he's mad that I won't let him touch me. And I'm like, so we've been together this long that you can't tell something's wrong? Or y'all just not paying attention and or you just don't care?
Right.
And it's like, I can't even have this dialogue with anybody. I'm sitting here a victim of, SA from childhood. My own family still look at me like I'm crazy, like I don't have a reason to feel the way that I do.
Like you.
So it's just like, how are y'all going to tell us to be vocal and be proud and be strong when every avenue as a black woman, as a black girl, we're looked at and demonized as if we brought these situations on ourselves. We go to the adults that's supposed to have our back. We're not believed. Then we build up this shell. We don't want nobody close to us. We don't want nobody around us in our space. We don't feel safe. A lot of us haven't felt safe since childhood. That's before dating even became a thing. So once we start confiding and feeling like, oh, I love this man, and he does the same thing, of course, a lot of us are sitting back saying, I have no reason to feel like I can depend on anybody around me. And that led to, well, I need to go to therapy and unpack it. And the therapy led to, you know what? I know it's kind of sad because I believed that I'd be married by this time and I'd have children by this time. But you know what? Those things don't define who I am. And I want my peace of mind. And if that means me being by myself, then you know what? Let me grieve the life that I thought I would have and start embracing the one that looks like it's going to be my future.
Right. I was just gonna say, like, yeah, we get dinged for it no matter what. Like, no matter what, we get dinged and demonized. Like, this is so long ago. It was a poem that I wrote, so I can't even remember it. But part of the gist of the poem was like, could you just imagine what a free black girl would look like? Like, just leave us alone. Just leave them the F alone. And let her be whatever it is she wants to be. Let her do, let her feel however she wants to feel, do whatever she wants to do, and be free to her own autonomy, as they say, to her own feelings, her own emotions, all of that. What a difference that would look like. It would not look like what it looks like now. Because even as young as you are, like, you grow up just knowing this because we live in this community.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that you grow up knowing, like instinctively, you know this stuff. Just like you were saying, like some who have this stuff that happened to them when they was younger and they weren't believed, or they just instinctively knew, listen, if I say anything about this, I'm going to get in trouble. Right. They're going to be mad at me. Look at what they did to Monique when her brother and sister showed they behind and went on Facebook and made that post. Her brother, out of all people. And if we don't all know, y'all should know, her brother was the person who was Ming her when she was little.
Okay,
And
so I've heard stuff about
actually,
this, but I never went down the rabbit hole to do the investigative work.
oh
So I
well,
did hear about this situation, but I don't know all the backstory.
well, like about her and her brother.
Yeah, about her and her brother, and then how the siblings went on,
Yes,
whatever you just
so
said.
she okay, that was years ago. She had came out and said, that she was aimed by her brother. Her
Mm-hmm.
brother from the time she was like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, up until like I don't in her early teens was doing this to her.
Right.
Mom did nothing. The mom didn't want to see her son prosecuted, so nothing happened to him. So one of the reasons why her and Oprah fell out is because Oprah wanted to do a show for Sweets Week, whatever they call it, to get ratings. Like, this is ratings week. I want a good show.
Right.
Okay. So she called Monique and asked her if she would be on her show, and I want you to be on the show to reunite with your mom. She said no. She turned it down. No, I'm not doing it. Like, why would you want to and Oprah, oh, you went through the same thing
Right.
when you were little, but whatever, because Oprah's a different story. But so she declined it, but she told her, if you want to interview my mom, go ahead. You can interview her, whatever. So next thing you know, she said it came around that time. She turned on TV. Who do she see? Her mother. And then surprise, another guest come out and it's her damn brother.
So, like,
And
did
the
he ever deny it, or did he take
no, he
responsibility?
admitted it.
Wow.
And said that he changed, and I'm sorry, sister, and I hope you forget. Like, after this YouTube, that Oprah show, you will be so sick. And then the mom sitting there forgiving her son, and she said she was so mad because at that time her mom, was in poor health, and she
Mm-hmm.
has now, so she really don't know what's going on, and she felt like Oprah was taking advantage of her family situation
Mm-hmm.
and exploiting it for the ratings. So that's the first instance of her and Oprah having beef. But then this recent time when she came out and went against DL, the
Mm-hmm.
sister, one of her sisters, and her ashy brother had the nerve, I think it was the brother, had the nerve to write a post trying to reprimand Monique for what she was doing. And you got all these people, and y'all know what he done did to her. You have all these people under the post going in on Monique under her assaulter's post.
The problem that I have, so
And that's what they do. So she was the victim, but y'all demonized the victim,
yeah,
shaming her. And he had, and out of all people, which you really need to shut up because you should be in jail. So, but him out of all people. But that's what always happens. And then going back to like how we grow up just instinctively knowing this stuff, and we're never believed, or if we
mm-hmm,
do say something, why you
was
had to say,
complaining.
why you had to say something, you always opening your mouth, you
Yep.
should have left it alone,
Yep.
so you get all that, and then what happens to a lot of those girls who grow up to be women who wasn't believed, or they know nobody believes Black girls, nobody believes Black
Yep.
women, nobody's out here protecting us. They always tone policing us, telling us to keep quiet. They then turn into those same types of people who then do it to other women.
Right. It just.
You join in because, and I guess it comes from like, hey, the lack of give a fuck for Black women. So I already know that we're not worth anything. We're not worth this. So I'm just gonna not believe you either. And R. Kelly and all this, and you be seeing them in the comments. That's a clear example of Black women who do the same, perpetuate the same behavior
The
against other
same
women.
pick-me's, the
The
same ones
same
who
behavior.
want a man over the safety of their children.
Yeah. Like, you would sit there and shame another girl, or they should have came out sooner, or I'm still gonna listen to him. I love his like, do y'all hear yourselves? And you know what? Studies show that majority of us been SA'd or
Mm-hmm.
in a situation, one out of, I forgot what they said, but the numbers are high. So a lot of y'all in those comments have been through these very similar scenarios, and you
Right.
still continue to perpetuate it.
I think. Do you remember the T.D. Jakes movie "Woman Thou Art Loose" with Kimberly Elise?
Mm-hmm.
that was so triggering for me because it was like I was watching my life, except it wasn't the boyfriend to the mama type thing. My situation was a family, a
Yeah.
married in family member, and like at the end where she was in the church and she was, trying to do better, trying to go through the process,
Mm-hmm.
and her assaulter showed up, and then of course, at the end she ended up having a weapon and doing harm to this person. She was arrested, she was held accountable for her behavior,
Mm-hmm.
but he wasn't.
It was. Yep.
He wasn't. And it's
Yep.
just like really weird to me, the abuse and neglect and disregard that is expected from Black women, regardless of the situation. Regardless of the situation, you expect us to deal with it. And what's even crazier is the people, male and female, who had something to say about Bree's delivery, had nothing to say when Kevin Samuels said, if your 14-year-old daughter come to you and say, he did this to me, are you going to ruin your marriage to believe her?
Yep.
No uproar. Y'all wasn't even mad.
And that's a
That's
good
strange.
example.
Y'all priorities are screwed.
That you are yeah, he literally sat himself there in that live and
Hmm.
told that woman, try to berate that be condescending and everything, and told that woman that she was in the wrong for saying that she would choose her child over you. Sir.
Correct. And said it with his whole chest.
He meant that.
But see, now that makes you when you hear stuff like that, it makes you wonder: does he have victims?
Hmm.
There's
Because
another.
I was saying it too, because first of all, that whole thing was weird because it was like, first of all, why would you make this a scenario to prove whatever pointless point that you was trying to make? Oh,
Exactly.
that kids are liabilities. So if they can't be assets, then they're liabilities. And how is your daughter at that? First of all, that's fucking weird because you're looking at them like, I don't, it was just weird. And then you making this a scenario and a thing that, like, why, what guy would ever think of this as being a scenario and be afraid of this happening if you yourself aren't like that
It's
to
not
begin?
something you've been through.
Right.
If it don't relate, why is this even the scenario? Just
Exactly.
like
Exactly. That's what I didn't get. I'm trying to explain that to people, like, that just was weird.
just like that they keep giving Moses the prophet his platform back.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I just don't understand why he's allowed to get his platform back multiple times on TikTok for the rhetoric that he spews. But I'm starting to understand that the algorithm does not want pro Black women rhetoric. And because he religiously tear down Black women at all costs, even at the comments that he's made that have been predatory towards children, he's still allowed to have his platform. I've
Hmm.
had so many videos taken down for like standing up for Black women. One of the violations was like hate speech. I said, so is hate speech to pour love and support Black women? How weird is that?
Right.
But let little Susie get missing and the whole world shut down.
Yes, girl. Don't
If
let
I
them.
hear about if I hear about John Benet Ramsey one more time, I'm going to scream.
Oh, don't even speak her name. Because now I swear to God, 60 Minutes, 2020, ABC, one of them is going to do a 30-year anniversary special with new.
30-year anniversary of poor John Benet. Honey, that girl brother did it and the parents covered it up. We
And
know
it's
what
so weird
happened.
that, to come to think about that whole case now, it's so weird how America made that case like it's like a cult. It's like in pop culture
Hmm.
fandom or something. Like there's really John Bonet people who study it still and be in these John Bonet groups and cults, and it's so weird.
Is
About a
is
little
is
girl who
they
was
idolized
a
her.
child model, which I don't like that whole thing. Them parents was guilty. That's all I know.
Yeah, they absolutely was guilty for covering it up. I have no reason to believe that the brother did not harm her, and that the parents, number one, was devastated because that little girl was bringing in some type of revenue into their home. But B, how do you get rid of your money ticket? Because we've seen a lot of NCIS, Criminal Minds, and Law and Order. We know that some people of different races will take out their own if the profit is beneficial. But then when you see how many black women, black girls, black children are missing, nothing. Not a word. What kind of alarm is that going on? Oh, it's a fire truck. I'm about to say, what in the world? But yeah, it's not just the tone. The tone policing is so deep that even like I was talking to my niece the other day, and she was like, sometimes I just don't want to talk. I said, and that's
Right.
fine. I said, that's fine. I said, if you don't want to talk, cool. I said, know me as the auntie. I'm gonna still send you out an SOS check-in text, and all you gotta do is text back and be like, auntie, I'm good, and I'll leave it be. I was like, but other than that, it's like I'm not trying to force you to have any type of dialogue or rhetoric that mentally and emotionally you're not ready to have in any situation. It could even be you got fed up at the grocery store and now you tired. Like that's a
Yeah.
thing. She's allowed to feel some type of way, and I've always tried to like reinforce that for her, even when she was younger. Do you feel like you need to go to therapy? Do you feel like you want to talk things out with me? Or do you want to talk things out with somebody that you feel like can give you a different perspective? Because I'm going to always be team you.
Right.
And she worked through her things. She grew into like an amazing black woman with her voice and her education. And she did all the things. And I wish when you said earlier, you was like, what would it look like if a little black girl could be free? You want to know who popped in my head?
Who?
Jaden and Willow Smith.
Willow. I was just gonna say Willow. Yep.
Willow,
That's
because if it wasn't for them getting the feedback, and I put Jaden in this too because they ain't never seen a little black boy do what he's done,
yeah,
and
definitely.
they're not policing their children. And I remember on Red Table Talk, Gammy was like, I would look at Jaden and Will and be like, "What? No, reel that in." And Jaden was just like, our kids have their own minds. That we're
Yeah,
gonna still guide them, but they have their own minds. Even with my hair, she had signed paperwork to do a whole tour, and then was like, "Daddy, I won't do this no more."
yeah.
And Will was
I,
like, "But we signed that paperwork with Mr. Jay Z." She said, "No, you signed that paperwork."
yeah, she is done.
She was done. Willow has such a free spirit that I think it was not a surprise to me when she came out on Red Table Talking was like she was polyamorous. I was like, because she doesn't want to be tied down. The idea of like institutionalized marriage, and I think her grandma's been married what 3 or 4 times.
3 times. Yeah, 3 times. I think.
Three. I want to say 4. Honestly,
Yeah,
Gammy been married a lot.
Jimmy been married a lot of
I,
times.
yeah, Gammy been married a lot. I think that seeing that, and then whatever's happening on the Smith compound,
Yeah.
because we don't know, has led her to believe like, hey, I can have multiple relationships with multiple people and we pour into each other. We support each other. And the way that she explained polyamory, that's what works for her. But like even her grandma was just like, you know what? Maybe it's not meant for me to understand, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Right.
you, Gammy, for being honest
Yeah.
and
Just saying,
understanding.
hey, you know what? That's good for you. Do you? Gamma be
Yeah.
having me rolling though, because
Gammy
Gamma,
be having me
Gamma just
rolling. She be like,
like,
look, I don't get
uh,
it. She's like, I don't get it. I don't get why y'all
not get it.
do this, but you know what? Maybe it's just not meant for me to understand. I was like,
Yeah.
y'all are funny to me.
Gamma be cracking me
But
up.
but watching them, even with that show as the platform, it was an open dialogue amongst 3 generations of black women.
You know what? I think Jada ruined it. Because that's exactly why I like the show. And actually how I wanted my show to be was kind of like that with my 2 girls on here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Jada ruined it because then it started getting too politicky, too like bringing all these celebrities on and letting them plead their case, go to the Red Table Talk, Snoop on the Red Table Talk, T.I. on the Red Table Talk, crying about what happened to him in the town. I don't want that little white girl who parents bought her into. I was rolling with Gammy on that one. Gammy was pissed off at that girl, but I stopped being with it. I just like when y'all three was having conversations and each generation was telling it from their perspective. That I like that.
So
That
I
was
liked
interesting
that,
to me.
and then I liked when they brought in the woman that she was a therapist, but she was a Middle Eastern woman.
Yeah, her.
And even though she's not a black woman, she's still a woman of color. So her
Hmm.
talking points would always just resonate with what they talked about. And I
Yeah.
just really wish that dialogue would happen more. Um, just because it would give a safe space. Like, I have an idea for like a recording from my podcast where it's dialogue between me and another black woman about some of the things that I've seen recently pop up on like reality TV, not necessarily with black women,
Mhm.
but women of other races who have dealt with like the eating disorders and things. And
Oh,
in the black community, that those things are just not discussed. Or black little girls or black young women don't necessarily have the anorexia or bulimia, but then a lot of us are emotional eaters
yeah, I was gonna
because
say
we
because
don't.
I can't remember. I can't really say growing up, I knew of anybody or any of my peers who was suffering with bulimia, anorexia. But then I think we have a different standard of beauty anyway, so we're not
Right,
trying to be no model thin
right,
type of aesthetic. Um, but I would agree with the emotional eating. And due to having food deserts and not being able to get the best quality food or
definitely.
having like fresh farmers markets all year round and being able to eat fruits and vegetables all the time. Like we just, our food selection, we're in our
Is
community are
not
poor.
ideal.
And
Yeah,
so yeah, it's gonna create these bad eating habits and emotional eating and things like that. So yeah, that would be interesting.
yeah. I wanted to have that dialogue, have that conversation, because I watched I want to say Jersey Housewives and Beverly Hills Housewives, two different women, one Asian, one Caucasian,
Mm,
and the Caucasian one hit me the hardest. Not that the Asian woman didn't, but the Caucasian one hit me the hardest because she had children involved. And most of those women who have the bulimic and anorexia don't have children for fear of how their body's going to change. And in the
right.
dialogue, her husband told her, "Our children are noticing you're not eating." And
Mm,
in her mind, she's like, "My husband doesn't pay attention." When I tell you they did his one-on-one interview and he broke down her eating habits and how they can't travel if she can't control her intake, like that man paid
he
attention,
pays attention, right?
paid attention for over 20 years. He even blamed himself. He was like, "I was just trying to keep her comfortable, but like, should I have done more?" Like, we
Mm,
don't even have that type of support. And if we do, it's very far and few in between. Or we have the black men who will say, "I'm an ally. I'm going to say these three sentences, but I'm not going to say it to the extent that the black men be mad at me as a black man. But I still have the women, what I'm saying, believing, I'm 100% them."
yeah, I don't
It's,
like
it's always a
allies.
teeter
Like
totter.
it's like how I don't feel like there's a such thing as white allies. I don't think
Hmm.
there's such thing as allies for black women. Nobody fights for us but us. Like, I mean, y'all can stop the cap. I don't see anybody fighting for us and our rights but us.
Hmm.
Like, period. Like, I don't care how hard you're talking until I see more black males on TV and in discussions and at the Congress and on conferences and stuff, standing up and talking and speaking for us in defense of us. No, no, we don't have allies.
But even
You just
down
want to be
to
a good person and a good guy, so you'll say things on my behalf, maybe, but yeah, no.
I just recently saw a clip with Stacey Abrams.
Mm.
They were shocked at what she did in Georgia. How dare this black woman stand up there and change shit? Who does she think she is? And in the clip that I saw, the white man talking trash, tried to make it look like she had done something illegal. And she read him for filth with a smile on her
Mhm,
face in the
mhm.
sweetest tone ever.
And that's another thing that, like, oh my God, like, listen, you really tried to put this black lady on the freaking spot talking about some crime, and some doing something illegal. You had all the audacity. And you know what's so funny? I guarantee you that he thought you thought you was gonna get a reaction. You wanted her to give you the reaction that you wanted her to
Yeah.
give you, and she didn't. And
Right.
that's another way of, we have to sometimes tone police ourselves, because I know as a Black woman, if I react that way,
It's gonna be
if
an
I
issue.
raise my right, if I raise my tone, rightfully so, by the way, if I elevate my voice or talk with passion right now, like like as I should be able to do that, but I know that I can't, because if I do that, he's going to come back at me or say something, or I'm gonna get the wrong reaction from the crowd, or it's gonna read across the screen wrong. So the way that that lady sat there and so gracefully and calmly read his ass for filth.
It was she did her thing. And to be completely honest, I hope that with the change of events that's happening around us in the world, that she gets the spot that she deserves to
She
be able to
deserves
make that
it.
state better, because her intent has always been for the people. And
Yep.
that's, I think, kind of an overall Black woman trait, where they're always looking. Hold on one second.
We always look out for the people.
I'm sorry, the little one walked in talking about, can he have his vitamins? it's, it's 11 o'clock here, sir. No, you can have your vitamins in the morning.
But yeah, we always look out for the greater good of the people, because Black women are the nurturers of the world, and we are leaders.
hmm Even my childhood friend from high school, white woman, we were talking about stuff back when the protests happened, but we both have smaller kids. And she said, what do you want to do as far as the marching? And I said, well, what do you mean? She's like, if you want to go, I'm down to support you, because I'm not gonna let you get shot. I'm gonna stand in front of you. Like, I didn't even prompt that conversation. She did that. Not everybody liked it. Not everybody has that mindset of doing certain things. And it's just like, you got to get around people who really are for you, but you can't automatically assume that just because somebody's nice to you, that they're for you. Because people switch up really fast, especially against Black women. Hell, a Black woman switched up on the Black female therapist and got her fired. Like, I think
Threw her
that,
under the bus.
yeah. In the conversation that I had with my mutual, he was like, nobody's bringing up the woman who wrote the article. Y'all are just talking about Black men. I said, honey, then you not paying attention.
Yeah, you really
I
not.
said, we trying to find her because
She
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 done locked
got brought
down
up.
on her social media. She
She
done
went and
locked down on her stuff. She done went ghost. We
Twitter
want her held accountable too for what happened to Bree. Because
gonna
a
find
video,
her.
huh?
I said Twitter gonna find her eventually, or she just need to eventually come out and apologize. I mean, just come out and apologize.
I think that if she apologizes, then it's gonna show and prove that the reaction from the men within our community was misguided and unacceptable. We already knew that. We already knew that. There's some Black male content creators was like, you do know that you guys look like the Karens of the Black community.
Yeah. But now going back, since we back on them,
Mm-hmm.
to what your friend said, what the difference was, because that is what I found most interesting. And I think overall, especially when it comes to Black men, that's the issue. That right there is the root.
Listen, when he said it, I was like, okay. I said, you were triggered by Bree's delivery because her tone reminded you of when your mother used to yell at you as a child. I said, now granted, I said, I've met your mother. I in no way believe that the way you and your siblings were treated was fair. I said, I also take into consideration that she was a single mom of three, getting her education, providing, and doing all the things, and that left a lot on you as the oldest. I said, but when you get put in certain situations, it changes your mindset. I said,
Mm,
she needed to be in therapy too. I said, but just because her mindset got changed and she needed to be in therapy, that doesn't excuse the way that she treated you guys growing up. I'm not saying that. Bree is telling y'all, hey, y'all should really consider therapy so that you can work through your trauma. I said you were reactive to Bree's message because of your childhood trauma that you never
Right,
addressed.
literally. I found that so interesting when you told me his reason why. I mean, I always knew that obviously y'all triggers with us. What triggers y'all within your group of Black women? Because mind you, we are not your mother. I don't know how many, but I know, with triggers, that's not how it works, but we're not your mamas. We're not your
Right.
aunties. We're not your grandmothers. We are your peer. I'm in your, like, we are the same. We're going through the same thing. We're trying to be together or have a relationship or whatever the case may be. And you're being triggered and you're displaying your misogynoir and your hatred for Black women towards me because I'm triggering a reaction or something that I said, a reflection in my tone,
Mm-hmm.
or feel like I'm reprimanding you on something, or you're emasculating me, or you're trying to tell me what to do, or I don't need you talking to me like I'm whatever it is. But whatever reaction you're getting, it's triggering that response because you're viewing me like how you viewed women who you grew up around, i.e., your mother, or maybe your grandmother, or whatever elder woman in your life that you grew up around that you need to rectify how you feel about that woman or those women. You need to address that with yourself or go have a conversation with your mom.
Oh no, they
Because
never gonna address Big Mama and them.
go address Big Mama and
They
tell her
never
what
gonna address Big
how
Mama.
she makes you feel talking to you. Like I always tell people, and I tell people with sons, because boys are different than girls. They
Mm-hmm.
just to me, they are way more sensitive, but I also understand because they're boys at the end of the day, and then they're being indoctrinated into this patriarchal system, and guys are supposed to be like this, that, and the third, and they're carrying that, and then they're already born with this ancestral trauma. The Black men are born with a very conquered mind, and I don't know who they need to explain that to them, if we need to write a book or someone has a book out
They're
there
not
that can
gonna read
teach
the book. They're not gonna read the
them.
book.
Oh, they're
We'd
not
have to get we'd have to
Audible.
get we'd have to write the book and get LeBron James to read it and then they
Yeah,
might read
well, we're gonna get somebody on Audible to read what I mean when I say a conquered mindset, but it's very self-deprecating and self-loathing. So I understand, like, because the mammies are always saying, well, they've been through a lot, and because
but
what
we have too.
right. But since it hits them different and they're very sensitive and their egos are very fragile and they're already trying to live up to the standard of manhood that they will never be able to live up to because that's a white man's standard of manhood, and he made it so that you are going to lose. Like, you will never be able to recreate or live up to this standard. So when you try and you fail, that's even worse. So then you have your group of women, and when we tell you things you don't like to hear, it crushes your soul and you get triggered. And it's our tone and the way we said it. But yet, a guy can tell you the same thing. A guy can address you and tell you the same thing, white, black, blue, or purple. And you will eat that and
They will
swallow that.
not argue. They will not argue with them.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all go home and cry in the closet, but to that man face, you'll sit there and take what he said. Yeah, I need to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you right, you right. Oh, but if I said it or if you said it, it's a problem. It's my tone. It's how you
But
say things.
even think about it because you said something that just really made me think because of course a lot of my friend dynamics, we all have children, and some of my old classmates have older children, and when you was just like they don't want to hear anything because you emasculating them, but telling them what's best for them even as teenagers
Mhm,
into adulthood as men has
mhm.
always been, let me tell you this, that, and third, so you're aware, so that you can make better decisions. You're emasculating me. How
Right.
is trying to give you information that will benefit you emasculating?
I
Or is it
gotta.
only emasculating because it's coming from a woman? Then
Right.
stop saying we don't understand y'all. But when we try to talk to y'all in the only language we know, the blissful ignorance and ego overshadow everything plus audacity.
They be so close to getting it and they just don't. Because I think for one, when it comes to them always throwing out the word emasculation, it's like I get what you're trying to say, but this ain't it. Like because I'm trying to maybe, like you said, set you on the right track or tell you something for your own good, tell you something that's only going to help you out or that's going to benefit you, and you feel like I'm talking down to you, you don't like my tone, that's not how you're going to get me to listen to you by you be emasculating me. Like me telling you something and correcting you is not emasculating you. However, me not doing that, me letting you go out there and continuing to self-destruct or be be failing at life and not letting you know when you need to tighten it up, or me coddling you and just never saying anything. I'm just gonna make it easy for him because I know he's been through a lot. I'm just gonna coddle him. I'll do it. Don't worry. Sit down, take a seat, put your feet up. I got it. I'll do it. I'll pay for it. I got it. Oh, I'll go wash the dishes. I'll go cook, clean. I'll do whatever you want me to do. That's emasculating you because now I have your
Now y'all
ball.
can't even do nothing. Now
You
y'all
can't
can't even survive on
do
your
anything.
own.
I
And that's
completely took your manhood, your masculinity, your balls is in my back pocket. That's what emasculation is when I look at you and say, you know what? I don't even believe that you worth anything to even bother with. That's what emasculation is.
but
And
even
yes, it
like
happens all the time. I see it all the time. But me telling you something for your own benefit so you can be better, or me holding you accountable, they don't like that. Me holding you accountable and staying on your fucking neck when you're doing something wrong or when I need you to correct something, that is not emasculation.
they swear that it's emasculating. And what it reminds me of is there was a lady on TikTok where they was like, why are women so independent and blah, 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 blah. And her example was whenever I needed help, I knew I couldn't call the man I was sleeping with because he wasn't reliable.
Right.
But even if my homegirl didn't have no money, she had food in her refrigerator. She made a plate to make sure that me and my kids were okay. I knew that if I needed a babysitter, my homegirl such and such would come through and help me out, and things like that. They ended up having to build individual villages, and a lot of us still don't even have that.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like because you'll hear me talking about why you sleeping with if you can't if he can, you can't depend on him. Because we like sex too.
I
We
mean,
we like sex too.
and
And that's
most
just
people don't
weird.
go outside of their race.
Most
As
black women
much
never
as I
date outside their
say
race.
that we do, Black women are very race loyal.
Mm-hmm.
And that may be to our detriment to be so race loyal because y'all really, they darn sure
They
are
don't
not.
like us.
But we're very race loyal. So, and that's why I always try to tell people too, like explain to like Black women for the most part are very race loyal. They want to date within their own race and stay
Right.
within. They don't want to be forced or
Right.
fed up enough to even go outside of their race.
Right.
And they're just asking for y'all to meet them halfway and do better.
But then you'll
And then
see.
even when Black, because we stay within our race, because that's the point I forgot. Even when we know what we're getting into and what we're dealing with. So when he said, why you still choose to want to screw with them, that because I mean, I'm very well aware. We're very well aware. I am still choosing to stay within my race of men. And I know that in America, Black people as a community as a whole, we're the bottom of the barrel. I'm aware of my status. Like I'm very, and I think that like Tanisha was saying on here a few podcasts ago, like they need to come to a lot of conclusions and come to a lot of realizations and
Right.
accept. I know that our race as a whole is at the bottom. I know that. I know Black women are the most hated. I don't give a hell what nobody say. Black women are the most hated. We can't take a shit in peace. We
Nope.
can't wear our hair the way we want to. We can't dress the way we want to without it being a problem. We can't eat what we want to. We can't weigh a certain weight. Obviously, look at Lizzo. We can't even be minding our business.
Business without it being an issue.
Successful singing a song without somebody on somebody podcast couch thinking about us. For
Yeah.
what? She ain't even do nothing but minding her business.
She was minding her business.
Can't even
And
do
and
anything.
oh buddy, there he go.
There you go.
Lizzo,
So I know
Lizzo,
that for myself.
he
I'm
was
not
really
gonna do
feeling it.
self-loathing and deprecating because I know this. I love being a black woman. I wouldn't change it for the world. But I know my place. I know how society views me.
Right.
And I know that me choosing to be race loyal and stay within my race, I know what I'm dealing with when it comes to y'all. I know what I'm dealing with.
I think race loyal, unfortunately, has been to our detriment because we also have it ingrained in us that nobody else is gonna want us. So then we stay loyal, even if it goes against our best interest.
Or you
Just
stay
like
loyal out of like betrayal. Like it's a betrayal if you I can't
well,
betray you.
you remember the girl on TikTok that was just like, I'm gonna open up my dating
Yeah.
options. They are sending that girl death threats. They sending her mama death threats. For what? If you don't, I have yet to understand the mindset of, if you don't want me, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. It might hurt a little bit, but that's cool. Go be with who you want to be with, but stop talking about me. Not once did that girl say, I'm never going to date black men. She didn't say that. She
Say
said she
that.
was going to open up her dating pool to
Right.
date other races.
Mhm. They just showed they behinds and proved
Every time.
her point
Every
of
time.
why. Now y'all done got under her comments, y'all doxed her, threatening her, sending death,
Death
something
threats.
mentally wrong. And now you really think I want to deal with y'all?
No. And I don't blame her.
You blame her if she said, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah, whatever happened, happened. And I guess I be trying to figure out the mindset of the men who do this, because if one of them are unallowed by the police, the first people they're going to expect to show up is black women.
Oh no, but no, because remember, a lot of them said they don't want us marching for them.
Well, I wish they put it in writing.
So I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I
Like
wish they put it in writing.
they don't want your support. They don't need your hashtag. They don't want you marching for them. Nobody asked y'all to do that. Like, oh, okay.
Well, just like with Christian's family had the nerve to ask for the black community to come together. And then somebody brought up that video or the voiceover where it was like, I date Caucasian women because they're my peace, right? But then they showed the video clip of that white girl hitting Christian. I was like, that looks real peaceful. That looks
Oh
very peaceful.
yeah, that was crazy.
But I mean, she was getting ready to flee. She was getting ready to flee. She was
Like
already
she
at
was.
Hawaii.
She
She was
should
getting
have
ready to go.
stayed where she was at. Truth be told, now if I was her and I just got away with him and somebody, literally, because she was out of country, I would have stayed my behind out the country.
But why
I
she
would
go back to
have.
Hawaii is beyond me. And they found her in Hawaii and expedited her back. But in that situation, it's still weird because it's like she was on that podcast. I'm like, oh yes, I like, black men with money, right? And then when Christian was found or whatever, their friends were saying she was the abuser.
Yeah.
No, that ain't true. That ain't true. Here we are again, where they're telling you directly to your face who the problem was. And so
Right. You still don't want to believe that it was.
still don't want to believe it. They never even they never even formed a committee to have the people who already lived in Florida to go down there and march for Christian. I was like, do
Now,
y'all feel like he deserved it because a woman harmed him? How dare him not be a man? But y'all rallied together to end Bree's career.
stop.
Y'all
Listen,
rallied
I was gonna
together.
say, if that girl was Bree, they would have had her head. They would have formed together so fast.
Mm-hmm,
Got the coalition, the NAACP, the Black Man's Organization. They would have
mm-hmm.
been down in Florida at that police precinct demanding justice for brother Toby. We want this Bree lady locked up.
We want her locked up. Why was she let loose? How dare y'all let this
Yeah,
woman
black woman.
unalive this good black man? They would have said he was a good black man. But not one bit of slander for old girl Becky with her OnlyFans page. Was still posting OnlyFans content.
She was still active.
But let a black woman have an OnlyFans. Whoo!
Mhm.
They just read what in the comment section. I think Shay Rue posted about Black China making like 20 million a month from OnlyFans. This is what I'm talking about. Exploitation. Don't be mad about her bag. She got 2 kids. She doing what she need to do. Her baby daddy family and them don't deal with her like that. But she got a daughter and a son to take care of. If that's the way she make her money, that's the way she make her money. Why are
That,
y'all so angry?
why are y'all so hateful? I
But
don't
they
understand. And it's that, like you said, listen, at the end of the day, they need therapy. Y'all need therapy. Some one of them is gonna find us,
you
like they
gonna
found
say you gonna
us
say it
podcast.
with a soft tone. Let's say it with a soft tone.
And I
Okay,
just really feel like
I do too.
therapy would help
Will
so
absolutely
many.
help. It will help you deal with the it's not butterflies in your belly, it's the moths of uncertainty in your life. It'll help you unpack those things so that you can be a better person for yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
So not for me.
Not for
For
me, not for your kids, not for your family, for yourself. That's
it will
that's that's
you
what it is.
address the traumas from your childhood because we
Please.
all have them. No one's slate is clear from childhood trauma, even if it was friends, school bullies, your cousins was mean to you. No,
Little Keisha that didn't wouldn't date you in the 10th grade.
yeah, oh yes, Keisha wouldn't date you, and so now ever since then, you could never bring yourself to trust or love another woman
Ever again.
again. Therapy will help unpack all of that so that you can be the best version of yourself
Yep.
for yourself.
And hold on, let me make sure I say it in the right time. And for the men who feel like they can't express themselves to the women in their lives, make sure you figure out if those are really the people for you. Going to therapy is a non-biased opinion that will allow you to say whatever you want legally within reason because they have oaths they had to keep, but whatever you want, and you don't have to worry about it being thrown back in your face. Because I
Oh,
know that accountability is hard. It's very hard, it's very taxing, it's kind of stressful. But, you know, being able to go through and acknowledge what you've done
mhm.
will help you grow into a better individual. There we go.
That is a good point.
Yes.
Going to therapy, you get a non-biased opinion. There's no judgment. It's a judgment-free zone.
Judgment free.
You can even go to a black male therapist.
Yes,
And
because they
actually,
exist.
we know a good one. I might put his link in the bio or the description after the show. I'll edit it and put his link in the description so you can reach out to him. He's a excellent black man who's a therapist. If you're
Yes.
not comfortable with a woman as your therapist,
Right.
um, but yeah, therapy is freeing, and next year you should make next year your best year.
Best year. Agreed. I absolutely agree. You know, to and also remember I sent you the link to Raji P. Henson. If you Google her name,
Yes,
is made a way for black men to receive free therapy. So,
therapy.
so the ones who don't have the insurance and stuff like that, here's another avenue and option so that you can go to a judgment free zone and unpack the things you guys keep inside that normally turn around and come out as rage. Rage is not the only emotion, so we need to, go to therapy and learn some of the other emotions. That would be great.
Oh, I'm gonna pull that up.
I tried to say that soft. Was that soft? Is that okay?
That was perfect. They should
Yes.
not find any problem
Yes.
with this
Agreed.
portion of the podcast
Yes.
because we have a very, I would say, a very delicate tone.
Agreed.
We're not being passionate,
Nope. No passion at all.
and we are being very kind
Very kind. Agreed.
and sincere.
Yes.
You should not feel no threat coming from this way at
At
all.
all. This breakdown moment in the part of the podcast is an open arms moment to let you guys know, telling you guys to go seek therapy is not an attack. It's not an attack on y'all, and we're not gaslighting. We really want y'all to go get the help.
Yes. I found the post. So let me share this screen here as soon as I get it together.
Okay.
And I think it's cool. And you know what? I'm going to also put this information. If there's information on here, I'm going to link it.
Okay.
Excuse me, in the bio as well.
Yeah, that's the one.
Offered by Taraji P. Henson. Apply at Boris, is that a L? HensonFoundation.org. Free therapy for Black men. I think this is an excellent idea.
Agreed.
And they now offer 5 free therapy sessions
Yes.
to everyone. So this isn't even just for Black men anymore. They opened it up for the entire Black community. So you
Which
get
is amazing.
5 free therapy sessions. The service they currently offer in 2022 are based on all people a part of the Black community. Please visit the site to learn more. So I am definitely going to put this site in the information in the description after the show, so that anyone who feels the need to speak to someone or feel like they can benefit or just want to be, or if you're just curious, they always talking about therapy. Let me see what it's about. Click the link. Get your 5 free sessions. At least go to the first 5.
Right.
And see if you like it, if it's something that you would continue to do. And if you're going to do it, be all in when you do it.
Right.
That's the other thing. It works when you want it to work.
Did you have another video?
Yeah, so before we go, I'm gonna just leave off with his video actually.
Okay.
And then we can do our takeaway. You guys,
Okay.
we can get out of here a little bit early because I know we be keeping y'all. Let me say.
This back to school transition be having me sleepy.
I know, yeah, you still transitioning back to school. Oh,
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
I'm gonna mute it.
Are the most tone police people on earth. And I would say Black people in general, but far too often we Black men participate in the tone policing of Black women. And I'll give you a light example, nothing too traumatic. A friend of mine and his crush, he posted a thirst trap to catch her attention. And when I asked, well, what did she think? He said, well, she liked it, but thought it was only okay. And I was like, really? How do you know that? He said, well, that's what she said, that it was only okay. Okay, why? He's Black, she's Black. How did he not know that what she was actually saying was okay, not okay, because of preconceived negative notions of Black women's tone and attitude? But don't just take my word for it. Read these comments in response to this request. Black women and girls, please tell me about a time when your tone was perceived as negative despite your intention being otherwise. We out here.
I would love to see some of his responses.
Yeah, I was about to read some. So then some of the responses, Mo said, all the time, even my silence is viewed as disinterest instead of simply listening.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else said, when a Black male colleague described what I said in a meeting, he added yelling, flailing arms, and neck rolls, none of which happened. Somebody says, anytime I ask, can you clarify that to Black men so I understand, I'm accused of being condescending for asking a question.
Correct.
Oh, that's a big one. Someone said, I once gave a WF teacher a less than ideal rating. She asked angrily, who are you to make this decision? I was the principal. Oh, wow. Wow.
Excuse me.
Somebody said, even being quiet or an introvert can be interpreted as giving the silent treatment or always
having
angry.
attitude.
Listen, I got that so often. Even me I'm a quiet person. I'm an introvert. Y'all don't let this internet and y'all seeing me on TikToks, don't be, ignore me. I'm an introverted person. And even if I'm being quiet, I'm sitting in my chair in the back corner somewhere, minding my business. It's interpreted the wrong way. Oh, why is she acting like that? She acting funny. Something wrong with her. She's
Something
angry.
wrong with she's not approachable.
Yeah, I'm not approachable. Right. I get that all the time. Someone said, I had a woman at work ask to touch my hair. Ooh, child. I politely said no and went to my desk. I was pulled into an HR meeting about being mean and scaring her. Child.
But that's the one that gets me the whole, can I touch your hair? No, girl. Like, no, you can't touch my hair. Can I pet you? I mean, you were being insubordinate. Girl, y'all were being racist. But okay.
This is a big one, especially in the workplace. At work, directness is confused with attitude.
Right.
And I got that all the time. I would get that all the time too, like that. Yeah, non-approachable, I guess. And like, or my boss will always ask me, "Is everything okay today?" Like, yes,
Yes, I'm fine. If I
I'm
don't come in
fine.
and say that something else is happening.
And if I'm not fine, I'll let you know,
Right.
Susan. Like, I'm fine.
Karen.
This one is so bad that I find myself policing my tone, and then I don't feel genuine to who I am. And on that note,
Yeah.
because that's so true. And like I said, I feel like that's what Stacey did. I like the way she held it together. Like, if y'all don't know what we're talking about, y'all gotta go and watch Stacey Adams' response.
Abrams, I thought.
Abrams, okay. Stacey Abrams' response to who she was debating, and he tried to bait her. I know he tried to bait her to get her to react in a certain way, especially her as a Black woman.
Yep.
And she did not give him that reaction. And I don't, like how bad, how hard that had to be to just like, I'm gonna get through this. Like, but she killed it. She really did.
She did an
Yeah,
amazing job.
we have to home police our own selves.
Yeah, just so that we're not putting ourselves in certain situations. Like, I don't know how many times I've been told I'm insubordinate. Like, even from high school. Oh man, that's being insubordinate. And I'm like, just because I asked you if you don't know the answer to the math problem, teacher, can you refer me to somebody who does? That doesn't mean I'm being insubordinate. It means I'm trying to learn my education like everybody else.
You being funny, snarky. Why you got an attitude? Snappy.
I've told plenty of teachers, I have an attitude for a reason. If you want to unpack that reason, do you want me to embarrass you here or somewhere else? I've always stood strong on what it is that I meant and what it is that what I say. And it's always been come off as insubordinate, difficult. I think I was in the 7th grade when I had a teacher tell me that Black people only existed once they came to America. I said, girl, boy, bye. Send me to the office, because you ain't about to sit here and tell me that there were no Black people until white people colonized the land. You can leave here being insubordinate. I got suspended for that. And I'm just like, I learned a long time ago. When I'm quiet, it'd be best leave me alone. Leave me alone. Feel however you want. But if I got that smoke with you, you gonna know.
Right. Like, why bother me if I'm being quiet?
Because you being quiet means they don't know what's going on, so they don't know how to be approachable and be like, hey, you good? It's always, well, she did not speak to me when I came back and brought everybody Starbucks.
Okay.
You didn't ask me if I even want a Starbucks, so why am I speaking to you?
Yeah, but
Julie. All right, come on now.
It's just really exhausting to always have to like put on this character, put your mask on today, put your tone on. Like, my mom used to be good for that. She used to be good for that. Like, when like a bill collector or business call, ring call, the house phone. Yes,
hello, hi. Do we all have that though?
I think so. Like, we all have that professional.
We all have that voice.
We put it on. And we just can't be left alone. Like, if you're quiet, you're getting bothered. Oh, if you mess up and be too animated in your tone, you excited, you passionate, they talking about your subject or it's something you know, you can't even do that because it's your tone. Check your tone.
I'm telling you.
And you have every right to be. You literally have a legitimate reason and every right, just like any other body else, to be upset or frustrated or angry. Check your tone.
You need to check your tone. How you watch? How dare you even get a tone? Who told you can have that?
Right. Who told you to have an emotion?
But then if you see a Karen in the middle of Victoria's Secrets after assaulting a Black woman, they're running to her.
Everyone is at her aid. Her beck and call. Yeah, but that tone policing yourself is just, it sucks that that's what we have to do. And I know it's like so ingrained in us that we automatically do it. And I don't think we thought of it that
Ho-
way. Like I'm
Holding in
so
that,
policing myself.
yeah, holding in that stress is not good for our bodies.
And
Trust
then
me,
you
I
know if
know.
you don't tone police yourself talking to certain people, then your message is gonna get lost.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna go over like they're gonna tone you out at that point. So you have to bite your tongue
Right.
and say it as clear and as calm as possible.
Yeah.
Because I know if I say it any other way with this person, it's gonna cause something that it doesn't even need cause.
It's gonna cause issues. I've even caught myself where a few months back there was a dialogue amongst me and a group of black women. And leading up to said this conversation, the text messages, the group chat, the group meet, everybody got attitudes. Everybody got attitudes. And I was like, the situation that we need to discuss is not that deep and it never has been. I said, so what else are y'all really mad about? Because you need to address it now. Oh, they talking shit in the text messages. And then as soon as we get on the Zoom call,
Mm-hmm.
well, hello everybody. Girl, don't do me. Don't do me. They wasn't expecting for me to just say it for what it is. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm really confused on where everybody's energy has changed. And this is just a conversation with me as a black woman with other black women. So I can't even have the dialogue that I had with the black women with white women. No, 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 no. I couldn't even have said all of what I said because I told people up front. I said everybody need to keep their same energy. Everybody need to keep their same feelings. Before you got on this call, everybody had smoke, and we need to blow it out, or we need to cover it in water because certain things don't require certain reactions. But then
Right.
if I snap out, why she act like that? Because y'all over here playing. But I couldn't dare say that to the Caucasians. She's so aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out why you speaking to me. Like that's where I'm at in my life. Is there a purpose behind your words? And if so, can we get to said purpose so that I can go back to minding my business? And I
Child.
hate that it has to be that way, but this sound bad, you really can't even be nice to people no more. Because if you be nice, they take you as a pushover. If you be quiet, they take you as you being non-approachable. If you, like you said, be passionate, they take you as doing too much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't. You have to just be real, non-threatening, not only to the palm colored people, but to black men as well. You have to be very non-threatening to them.
Well, maybe that's been my problem most of my life. I like to start riots. If we gonna be in this, let's be honest. Let's be truthful. I die on the hill that I'm gonna make sure that I raise my son to understand double standards, to understand boundaries, you know what I'm saying? Because I constantly and repetitively on all platforms say, hey, the double standards, especially towards black men and black women, are not the same. Like we get police, our bodies get policed before we even hit puberty.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
get called fast for just existing.
fast because you're going through normal changes
Puberty.
that, right?
Because puberty happened. Damn you, Mother Nature.
Hmm. I can't stop my chest from growing. I'm sorry.
Oh no. Oh no. They'll police you. But
Hmm.
how dare you decide you want to have boobs? Who are you? Cover those up. You can't be around Uncle Tommy dressed like that, even though Uncle Tommy's the
Right. Are we going to address
the
the fact
predator.
that Tommy is looking at me?
Right.
Right. Are we going to address that he's looking at me in a way that he shouldn't be? That I have to get policed about what I'm wearing? Yeah, it's been happening to us to black women and girls for the longest.
They never address it because men are just being men. Remember?
At this point, I guess we're used to the policing. Even on a larger scale, all women are used to the policing
Mm-hmm.
that we get. So, yeah, with that, let's do the takeaway.
So, excuse me. What I take away from this conversation is I feel like, just like with the conversations that we have to have about race at an early age, that we start to understanding how being policed as Black women happen at a very early age. And regardless of whatever your life experience is, at some point in time, all Black women have been policed. Either told to speak up. If you don't speak up, you don't let people walk all over you. But if you let them walk all over you, you deserve it. It's just a never ending cycle of checking Black women because how dare we exist. And it becomes too much. It becomes too much. And then when we don't want to be bothered, then, well, y'all got attitudes. Okay, feel how you like, bruh. But I don't feel like tone policing Black women is it. And whatever a Black woman decides to do, via her be animated, via her be quiet, it should still be her choice, without the constant judgment, not just from people of other races, but from the people within our own community, because our community is hard on each other as well. Can you hear me? Are you?
I didn't know I was
Oh,
yeah.
mute. I was like, oh,
So yeah, I feel the same exact way that like we've been tone police for a very long time. That is almost normalcy that we know to automatically check our own tone before we get into saying what it is we're going to say because we know we may get pushback simply for having an opinion or a thought or a suggestion or our opinion on things or our input. Like, don't nobody want to hear you talking type of thing. It's like what the vibe is. No matter what our tone is, it seems that anything that we say is going to be met with pushback. And I feel like the only way that we can eliminate or and start to remove this from being a thing is to use your voice and to speak on it, speak up, and don't be afraid to say what it is you need to say without being told that you're saying it wrong or it's the tone or I ain't like how you said that. Your tone is just fine. And typically, if I know someone is saying something to me that I don't like or that's displeasing to me, or I feel like, yeah, you could have said that better, I mean, 9 times out of 10, you probably could have said that a little bit better. You probably didn't have to be so nasty, or you probably could have addressed me not so rudely. Like, that's things that you can check somebody on. But checking me because my voice has passion in it doesn't make me angry. Checking me because I'm having a bad day. So, yeah, I'm a little upset right now or on edge doesn't mean that my tone need to be checked. Checking me because I'm feeling any of the emotions that are not secondary, which is anger. Anger is a secondary emotion to something
right.
else. So y'all, this whole angry Black woman, y'all gotta stop. Like, that has to stop. Like, and even if that is the case and we're angry, given everything, we have so much of a right to be angry about things. But my takeaway today is the tone police can go suck it somewhere. And Black women and girls, keep doing your thing.
Agreed. Stay passionate. Stand by your goals and your dreams, and regardless of if people like what you say or how you say it, be true to yourself. Don't hold in so much because holding that in is killer stress on your body. Trust me, I know. 31 had a heart attack. Don't be like me. Be better.
And you guys who's watching, or if you come into this late, you watch it another day, leave us in the comments section examples of you being tone police, or do you feel like you also have to be mindful of your tone, or have you ever been told about your tone? And let us know down below, and we will talk to you guys next time.
Yep. Y'all have a good